Here.
You know what it is. If this fucking cat was vacuumed, I wouldn't be so allergic to it.
Well, like...
It's that hair. It's the fucking hair that comes off of him that gets me.
Well,
But the actual cat doesn't make me sick.
I can't constantly run a dirt devil over the cat.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that's what it is. Like, it's the fur ball.
No, I see.
You're gonna have to shut him.
I like this setup because
Skin the cat.
I can't be seen.
I can't be seen either.
You can be halfway seen.
I'm two-faced. I don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
Are we ready?
We're on. I mean, people already saw you on camera.
Oh, hi everyone.
Yeah, as you can see, it says stop streaming right there.
I didn't realize. Well, you know, that's a treat.
Yeah.
Now you don't see me. I'm not here. I'm on the right. So about that press conference at Microsoft, still doesn't work. You thought it would make a difference. It made no difference at all.
Everybody saw you anyway, so...
No, you didn't. It's too late. So about that Microsoft.
Microsoft. Oh. I shouldn't say off, but because it was actually pretty good.
For the record, I just want the world to know that when we get to the Bethesda opinions, it's probably going to be filmed tomorrow because it'll be 1 a.m. for us.
Yeah, that's
and I don't know if I'm going to be down for that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Why don't you get closer to the microphone?
I don't want them to see me.
No, I promise it won't suck your soul out.
They're going to judge me for my hideous looks. Yo.
I'm very overweight. I'm the person they would judge.
I'm gonna do this. So, everyone.
So yeah, we've been watching the Xbox conference. We've been having a few wonderful beers here.
We've had some alcohol. It's been pretty good.
So this is Eric. If everybody's been wondering what he looks like, there you go.
Hi. So we saw the Microsoft conference, and overall, I thought it was pretty good. Was not the best at selling me to the console.
Okay,
First of all, we need to talk about the name.
Okay.
Xbox One X.
Yeah, it doesn't really give a lot of difference between the One S, does it?
I hate the name because it sounds like a bad gamer tag. You know, like XXX. Gamer tag XXX kind of hurts me a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of deal.
It's not good.
What do you think they should have called it instead?
I think Xbox Ultra. I think what they needed to do was remove the 1. Like, I get it. It's an expansion, pretty much. It's kind of what the Elite is and all that. But the problem is they kept marketing this as the most powerful device. Like, the most powerful console. They're hyping this up, right?
Right.
And yet, it just seems like an Xbox One. It just seems like a better Xbox One, which would be fine if it wasn't double the price.
Right, it is double the price.
Which, at this point, you might as well give it a new brand name. It
is double the price. They are trying to market it as, like, the step above Xbox One.
$500.
It's $500. It has the same form factor, if you saw the picture. It looks like an Xbox One. The controller is no different.
Remember when the PS3 was remember when the Xbox One was announced? The cheers Sony got, the boos Microsoft got? Okay,
yeah.
This price is not good. And I get it. It's got to be this native 4K thing. But it's not quite enough, I feel like, to get people to buy. If you have an Xbox One, you have no reason to upgrade. But if you don't have an Xbox One, I think $500 is way out of the price range for comfortable. When you could just go for a Switch, which would be something unique.
Right. So, you predicted $400.
I did. And I stand by that prediction. Because it would have been better.
I went with it.
Objectively a better price.
I went with it because $400 seemed about right.
Now, online, Jeff Keighley had reported early that it was $500, and I thought the joke was that he was in on it, and they were purposely going to play it downward, so everyone's expectations like, $500, this premium device. Oh, $400, now it's impressive. That's not what happened. It was just $500.
It was interesting because I agreed with the 400 thing because I thought they're going to take a loss, but at this point, they're going to need to take a loss to go with this.
Yeah.
And 400 seemed about to the area where, they're taking a loss, but at the same time, it's affordable, so people would be on board.
It's not. It's the premium device.
It's not affordable at this point, especially if you already have a one.
Yeah.
There's no point in upgrading. Not for what we saw.
They didn't have side-by-side comparisons. I don't really see much of a difference. Also, I would like to point out, I'm just going to leave my hand open. I'm tired of doing it. I'd like to point out that because we saw no side-by-sides, with the exception of Anthem, every game looked pretty, that looks like this console generation. It
Right.
did not wow me the same way.
It really didn't, especially, let's pull the notes here. What was the one that I was mocking? State of Decay 2 is the one.
Decay 2.
That was the one that I looked at and like the character animations are not all that wonderful, and especially like the zombies that were there. That was just really,
Well, I mean, that was a sequel to an established franchise where you get the excuse for something like that. But unfortunately, okay, I'm done doing that. I'm sorry, internet. I'm getting back to the fucking camera. Unfortunately, I really had a problem with the way they marketed it. Now, having said that, I thought it was a really good press conference. We got a lot of games. It was game after game. Wonderful. We got to. It was just the good part. There was some trickery language going on for the term exclusive, which bothered me a little bit.
Yeah, they were using the term console launch exclusive, which does not mean what you think it means.
I took it as all these games coming out at launch until I noticed that one of the games is coming out in 2018.
Yeah.
And then I was also a console launch, which means it's just timed exclusives.
Yeah. It's an exclusive for the console launch.
Yeah.
Meaning that you're not going to be able to get the game anywhere else except that launch at that point. You'll be able to get it elsewhere later on.
Does this have exclusive games for just the X?
No, it doesn't.
This name. The X.
It
is
doesn't.
What I have to call it.
No, it doesn't have any type of exclusive straight to the console because they're all for Windows 10 as well, which they clearly outlined during this conference.
So it's a pro for Xbox, but it's just a little higher spec and way more expensive.
Right. So if you want to do
the hype,
if you want to do 4K gaming and you don't want to go through the expense of PC, you can do this. Which then, at the same time, I'm still skeptical because I know what it costs to do 4K gaming on PC, and you're trying to tell me for $500, guaranteed 4K with this, 60 frames. I don't buy it.
It just seems like both too much and not enough at the same time. They want to have their next generation, but there's no exclusives, meaning it's not a next generation.
Right.
The leap visually is not as impressive as they want to sell it. And I'm pretty sure I heard that amazing thing that you talked about. Look, sorry. That amazing thing you talked about, where it has this backwards compatibility now with the original Xbox, didn't sound like it was exclusive to the Xbox One X. I'm calling it X1.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it the X. I can't do it.
Well, I could tell you why they wouldn't do the X1 if they wanted to call it that, because that's already an Xfinity product. Yeah, I know it's silly, but that's what that is.
Xbox One X.
Xbox One X.
Scorpio is a better name.
I would have called it the Xbox Scorpio.
Might as well at this point.
And I would have.
Although that would have meant it was a different system, which the name Xbox One X tells me that it's not, and it's a smaller leap, which is not worth $500.
Well, the Scorpio, if they would have kept that name, would have been cool because then you could do some really killer branding with it. Get like that, put like a fucking scorpion on the thing. Make like, of course, have the Xbox logo on the machine somewhere, but like the new tag for it is a scorpion.
Yeah.
And then just give you, this is for the elites. This is for the people who are dead serious about their gaming. The Scorpio.
So stop being negative. I want you to talk about the specific games. Because there were some really neat games at this thing. That were also on other consoles. But there's some good exclusives. List me. Let's go through the list.
So some of the console launch exclusives they talked about, you're going to be able to get like right at the beginning. I know the one that caught our eye and we were just watching it in just complete amazement at how insane it was the Artful Escape.
Artful Escape looks like this very trippy rock platformer.
Yeah.
And it looks like it could be fun. But it also looks like something I could do on my phone. But it looks fun. I mean, that's not a knock against it. They're clearly having fun with the game they're making.
Yeah, the kid's like flying across. All of a sudden, a guitar forms in his hand. He's riffing and flying and
kind of reminded me of like an indie Guitaru Man, but not a rhythm game. Although it's probably a form of rhythm game once we get in there.
Should be.
Yeah, I'd like to imagine a music game as a rhythm game.
Yeah,
but you know.
Maybe it could be
Brutal Legend, and it could just be a facade.
That would be odd.
Be
no,
good.
I'm hoping it would be the rhythm game that like people actually want to play versus like the Return of Rock Band and Guitar Hero, which
I think you're putting it on too high a pedestal. I think Guitaru Man is where to place it.
Okay.
Guitaru Man was this neat little indie thing, or not indie, but rhythm game on the PS2, and it's not that remembered, but it's a fun little moment of time, and this might be that, but smaller budget.
Fair enough. What about, since we're both MMORPG fans, what about Black Desert?
I know nothing. It looks neat. I need a lot more info before I feel anything.
Yeah.
Is it going to have a monthly fee? Who's making it? What's the game design around it? Is this a world I'm going to care about? Probably not. And
yeah, there's
then,
a lot of questions.
Even then, I can only really get into one main MMO at a time. I view Destiny as a very different game. I like Destiny, but I can casually play that. But Stormblood is where my head's at. I can't imagine getting into a third MMO.
The main problem with Black Desert is that they didn't tell us who was developing it, which when it comes to MMORPGs, guys, that's a huge, huge thing. That's a must-know.
I predict NCSoft because they make everything.
Yeah, and it does have the Eastern look to it.
Yeah, it's NCSoft.
Yeah, so it likely is NCSoft, which you can say okay and not a good idea, because NCSoft has a history of making some great things. They also have a history of making some really shit things. So that's something I'm interested in, I'll pay attention to, but I'm not exactly sold on.
Yeah.
And there was one, I can't remember the name of it. It was that one game with the cool art style with the dwarves.
Neither of us remembered the name. As we saw it.
But it looked
fun.
cool.
It kind of looked like a first-person shooter Minecraft co-op survival game. It looked neat. Not probably going to play it, but like I respect it. It's got a cool art style to it. Didn't think it was dwarves until they said the name dwarves.
I didn't catch that they were dwarves either, but it was like...
Yeah.
There were 3Ds to it. It was like Danger something dwarves.
Danger, Dingo, dwarves.
Dingo, why not?
Yeah.
There's
Kangaroo
Danger.
Jack.
There's dingoes because you're in Australia.
Yeah.
Plot twist. And then dwarves because that's apparently where they reside now.
Yeah.
So those were the three things you can expect out of this game, coming at some point when they can round up the dingoes.
That's the game. We got a lot of games to go through. We got to speed this up a little bit because there's so much.
Minecraft.
Yeah, it's Minecraft next.
Well, hold on.
What's there to say about Minecraft? Hey guys, have you heard of it?
It's now cross-platform through everything.
That is
no
neat.
matter what you're playing. You could be playing it on PC.
Or the Switch.
Mobile, anything like that. And you can all play together now with like fully updated servers that everybody can get on. They promise that it's going to be seamless. It's not going to be a clusterfuck. We'll see if that's true. But that is big news if you're a Minecraft fan.
It is wonderful news. But at the same time, as a game, there's nothing for me to talk about.
Yeah, there's nothing new that's really happening. It's still Minecraft.
I bet you it's got a lot of building, it's got a lot of crafting, and you can make a mine in it.
You can make a mine and
then
then
do these things.
You can stab a monster.
Marcus is still billionaire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Owns a third of the economy.
Marcus Persson is going to be a billionaire for a long fucking time.
Unless he spends it. Anyway, what's after
Let's
that?
see. The Darwin Project I wrote down. I don't remember shit about it.
Darwin Project was kind of like that Overwatch clone that was third person, where they had the announcer talking.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, hey, he's going to go and shoot him in the back.
Oh, yeah, because I wrote the shoutcaster's name down. Jethro Tull.
I think that was the only game that I honestly said poo-poo as we watched it. Because all the other games, I see what's interesting about it, but that one literally felt to me like a generic... That's the only one other than the zombie one, which is State of Decay, but I get why that is what it is, and I'm not knocking it for it. It's the only one I felt nothing. I'm just like, let's go past this. It exists. I suppose.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
That's about the best way to
It
put
did
it.
its thing.
Metro Exodus.
Now, I have not played Last Light, but I played the original. You've only played Last Light, correct?
Right.
It's a great series. I'm glad Metro's coming back. I didn't see if that was a console exclusive or if it was a timed exclusive. Metro's one of those really underrated series that doesn't get the same love that others should, or others do, but it really should. And I think this one might be the breakthrough. I think they got a really unique mechanic to it. Like, this is Metro, but as a bigger story. Like, the name Exodus tells me it's more than just the location that's been in the past 2 games.
For what I saw when I was playing Last Light, there was a lot of like sneaking and not as much action as I expected. The way they're showing with this one, it's just action straight out of the gate.
The original game had this one mode called Ranger Mode that I loved. Where basically, like, one of the things that's interesting about that game is ammo is also currency. So you can, and that's true in the sequel, where if you want to barter with people, you can buy things, but you have to sell your bullets to do it. And in Ranger Mode, everything was basically one-hit kill, kind of, and your bullets were super scarce. It made it a far more tense game, but it still kept the core difficulty. And it was a wonderful thing. I heard the sequel made that pay DLC, which I never liked that. But hey, third time's a charm.
Very true.
Let's do it.
Code Vein.
Looks like Dark Souls.
We didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of it, but it looked...
From the makers of God Eater. God Eater's a good Monster Hunter clone. This game looks like an anime Dark Souls, and I, for one, am happy with Dark Souls.
It looked very Dark Souls-like. Here's a monster, beat up the monster.
It's Dark Souls with cutscenes, which Dark Souls really doesn't have.
True that. They usually do most of their stuff, like, in-game.
Yeah.
So here's a good one that I think we both really enjoyed. Sea of Thieves.
Oh, yeah, it looks great.
So, aside from the fact that, like, a lot of it was obviously planned, a lot of the stuff that you saw in there, it still looked like a lot of fun. Like, something you could have a lot of fun with a friend.
You need to play it with your friends, but it absolutely looks like a really fun game. I don't think it's a rare game. I know that's who's developing it, but
right.
They're dead, so...
No, it didn't look like...
It's a new group of people.
It didn't look anything like something Rare would do, but like you said, this is not the Rare of old. This is Rare.
Reminds me of Guns of
with
Icarus.
Quotations.
And I really like Guns of Icarus. So I think this has a chance to be a little bit of a breakout title.
And it is clever. It's very clever. They did some clever things that you caught on immediately, like watering the ship due to damage where you were attacking the ship. There were clever things like that. You have to work together to dig up the treasure and then get it back to the ship.
It's got MMO elements. There were other ship that showed up and they attacked each other. I mean, it looks like a fun game.
So that was interesting. There was a game called Tacoma that was on the screen for like 4 seconds.
I don't remember it at all.
That's because you looked down at your phone to look at something for a moment. This thing played, it said Tacoma, and then bam, it was over.
That's game of the show?
Yeah, it was... What the fuck was that?
Game of the show is what I want.
Oh my god. Let's see. The next one that happened. This is one that got both of us. Oh, it got both of us really good because we saw the tail. We saw the tail and we thought it was Conker.
Lucky's.
Super Lucky's Tale.
Super Lucky's Tale. Wow, Microsoft.
The most linear fucking game you could ask for. I know it's for kids. I know kids need games. That's not why I'm so pissed off over this.
They used Conker's Tale and tricked us into thinking it was a new Conker.
I thought it was a Conker game because of the fucking tail. That's why we're pissed off.
I'm kind of no. I'm actually happy it's not. I don't want Microsoft to like have a game that I need to play, and they could have had it. They could have had me go, well, I guess I need an Xbox, but they lost me. So
they saved the day for you.
They saved this day by ruining themselves. I'm allergic to this cat. This is a mistake that I keep petting him, but it's a fucking cat. Next.
Cuphead. Cuphead's finally going to release. Imagine that.
That's how it comes out. I have no proof.
It's supposed to release in September. We'll see.
It's not coming.
Because they've been talking about this game coming out for like what? The past 2 years?
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Remember, it used to be a boss rush game, and then they added the platforming later because people demanded it. And that's added considerable time.
Because it's like, Cuphead's supposed to happen.
I hope
but
it comes to PC, then I can play it.
I think it's supposed to.
Well, then I guess I can play it.
There we go. Crackdown 3 with Terry Crews.
Crackdown is a wonderful game. I've looked at Crackdown for years. That was one of the few games that were announced 2 years ago when they dropped the mic, and it's the only one that wasn't canceled. Crackdown 3 is going to be great, but at the same time, you can just play Saints Row 4, and you'll get a very similar experience. But I still think like that is the killer app for Microsoft, and if they add destructibility, then they'll have something, which I think they will. They'll have something unique and really fun.
And I sadly know nothing about Crackdown, but if you have Terry Crews, it's there.
Well, you said you played Saints Row 4, right?
Yeah.
Then you know.
Good enough. Okay.
It's the same mechanics. It's the high jumping in the air and shooting on the ground and collecting agility orbs.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's what happened.
It was entirely based off of that. So
okay.
You had it.
Fair enough, and I guess I have played it. How about Life is Strange Before the Storm?
So Life is Strange is one of the most surprisingly good indie games to come out. I love the original season. Interesting, they're making a prequel. I hear they're also making season 2, so they're making this as well as season 2 and the vampire game coming out. Vampire, that game's called. I say bring it on. I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm down for more. And it's an interesting mystery they have to tell, too, with the prequel. So I'm excited.
I haven't tried Life is Strange yet, but I'll be able to this month thanks to free games.
It's free!
So that's always good. Let's see, Middle-earth Shadow of War.
Looks like a sequel to a game.
I like the expanded Nemesis system and the ability to build an army.
For sure.
I thought that was interesting. I'm hoping that they fix certain aspects of the game. From the previous one, the issue I had is after you fuck around in the game for so long, because they give you an open world to fuck around as much as you want, it gets to a point where none of the enemies are afraid of you, because even if they surround you, you can do a special move, scare them all, and then they run away.
What I think the most interesting bit was that now you can humiliate enemies and lower their rank. I'm curious what that does gameplay-wise, especially with the Nemesis system.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. I didn't really like the first one that much outside of the Nemesis system. I thought it was just Batman mixed with Assassin's Creed.
That's a fair assessment.
Else. But I feel like they're closer to something with this Nemesis system, so they hope they keep up with it.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment to say that it's got a lot of the Arkham stuff going on, a lot of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
The thing I'm thinking is, with like the humiliation and such, it'll give somebody else like an opportunity to assassinate that guy as he goes down in rank, and it just snowballs from there. But we'll see.
There's a lot of things that it could be.
There are definitely a lot of stuff. I'm pretty interested to see it. Ori and the Will of the Wisps looked amazing.
First game's brilliant. It's a sequel we expected. It's going to be great.
I love the art style. I love the live piano they had with it.
Yeah. You should play the original.
I plan to. I definitely plan to. I thought that the presentation when they introduced this was fan-fucking-tastic is the best way I can put it. Good stuff. This is the one that really made me go nuts, but I think you made me calm down a bit. Xbox original compatibility.
Yeah.
I was very interested because if they bring it back to where you can play online, it's going to be amazing. Like with Crimson Skies, Halo 2, which you already have the Anniversary Collection. I'm not sure if you would really need that anymore.
The servers are not coming back up for the Xbox original games, which is what he was expecting. You're never going to be able to play Whacked again. Whacked is a dead game. And I'm sorry you can't play Whacked. I know you're a big fan of Whacked. You remember Whacked, don't you?
What the fuck is Whacked?
Whacked was a game on the original Xbox.
I've never played it.
Oh, you're missing out if you didn't play Whacked.
No, I didn't play Whacked.
So Whacked was kind of like this magnificent party game that fills me with disgust.
With disgust, you say?
I had a demo of it, and it was pretty horrendous. But now we can play it online again if the servers go back up.
If the
which
servers
probably won't happen.
If they do go back up, then that gives you Crimson Skies, it gives you Mech Assault again, a lot of the big hitters from the original Xbox that pushed online gaming forward. If not,
You won't.
it's not really that big of a deal, guys. It really isn't, because now that I've gone back and I've gone through my catalog of games I have for the original Xbox, which is like 40 different games, I'm starting to realize that without online capability, that system is kind of lackluster.
You don't say.
So that's just the honest truth to it.
And then
It needs the servers.
was that it, or was there any other?
Oh,
yeah.
last big one, Anthem.
Yeah, Anthem. I was last night. I think the universe collectively said, "You're ripping off Destiny," and today I think it was proven that it wasn't. Like it's still super science fiction game that's going to have MMO elements and blah blah blah, loot system, all that. But there's enough about it. It reminded me closer to Warframe than it did Destiny. And I don't know. I guess that put me in a more positive attitude about it. It doesn't look like it's stealing from Destiny's thunder as much as it's kind of becoming a side thing, which is giving me a little more. I love the environment. I love that size and scale is legit as opposed to what Destiny 1 used to be and lied to us about at the time. I like Destiny a lot more now than I did then. But I'm more optimistic than I was. And the facial animation looks like they got a budget.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
Facial animation look great. I think you're missing the biggest part, though. It's
there a bigger
completely
part?
open.
Well, we don't know that yet.
That's what they were showing.
From the footage that we saw, but we don't know how far until the invisible walls show up.
Very true.
I think you're overestimating what we see. I remember when I was told Skyrim was completely open, but you hit an invisible wall at some point, and even then there are mountains that are entirely for decoration where there's no way to put a footing on it. I think you're over trusting on that. We'll see.
It looks fairly open.
It looks a lot more open than most games are, but it also, the only game to ever do open world completely right was Zelda, because Zelda said, here's an open world where there's something to do at all points. I do not get that vibe from this. I get the vibe that you're going to be flying past a lot of it.
That's exactly what was happening, actually. There was one point where, there was a big monster or whatever that was coming after the guy, and he noped out and flew away.
I think more interesting was the fact that it kind of looked like Division in terms of setup. You notice when they looked at that cave, it had 2 to 4 players written right on it with the name of the cave. That's an instance. So it's an open area that has instances that you can walk into with your party.
That was the game I was actually trying to remember earlier. I was like, yeah, that was because you were talking about the fake dialogue between players that they had.
Yeah.
And you said, well, EA loves to do that. And I was like, yeah, didn't they do that with The Division, constantly? The answer is they did.
They did, but it wasn't as bad with this that they did in Division, because there was far less of it. The town, I'm pretty sure, was scripted entirely. It seems like the only real point of it is just to choose the mech you're going to use and have occasional cutscenes that are done in first person. I'm not expecting this to be very story-driven. I'm not expecting this to go full BioWare. BioWare, I'm pretty sure, is dead right now. This is like an action game that has their name on it. It still looks really solid, but I'm not seeing it as MMO Mass Effect, guys.
No.
So I'm a little restrained, but I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be a fun game, but anyone who's a fan of BioWare expecting, the ability to choose dialogue and
You
progress
poor
the story that
bastards.
way, yeah, you're going to be disappointed.
You're going to be waiting for CD Projekt Red's new games. What's going to happen?
Yeah. And, well, good on CD Projekt Red for fighting those fucks that are messing with them right now, by the way.
I don't know anything about this.
Oh, you didn't know? Well, before we end the show, we'll go ahead and talk about that. So, there is aspects for CD Projekt's latest game that was taken by hackers.
Oh,
Yeah.
taken or found?
Taken is what I'm understanding.
So they've lost those assets.
So, they were older assets that they weren't really using
That's
anymore.
different. I thought we were talking source code from Half-Life 2, where it was legitimately stopped development because they stole the assets.
No, it hasn't stopped development. This is older files, and the hacker group thought they had gotten the actual thing, and then threatened to ransom to get money, or they were going to release it. CD Projekt Red responded by saying, "You have old stuff, old assets, and we've moved on, and we're developing further. So have at it."
Even if that's true, I'll gladly take a look because I need it.
Yeah.
I need that game.
So CD Projekt Red. This is right before E3, which is probably one of the most damaging points in a studio's timeline. But
I'm
CD
pretty
Projekt
confident
Red.
they're not going to be at E3 this year.
No, CD Projekt Red's not, going
Or
with
if
that.
they are, it's Gwent, baby. Yeah. Anyway, I think this is about it for Microsoft. Tomorrow we have we have Sony,
Mm-hmm.
which is the biggest one,
Yep.
and then Nintendo, which could be the biggest one, but it's 30 minutes, so I'm going to doubt it.
Nintendo's on Tuesday, actually.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Sony.
Yeah.
Tuesday is
Oh, okay.
Nintendo.
Correct.
We have Bethesda tonight and Ubisoft, which I don't know if it's worth an entire stream by itself, but if you want to hear me kill myself, you'll hear it either way. 'Cause
Well,
we'll
there will
get to
be
it.
Aisha Tyler. There will be people in costumes and weird makeup dancing.
Uh,
It'll be a really dumb circus like it usually is.
uh,
I don't get why they do that. They're ridiculous.
hey, what if I didn't watch Ubisoft?
But you gotta.
I'd rather not.
You gotta. This is your new gig.
I don't wanna.
You can do
What
it.
if I just told you I did? Because here's the thing: no one is going to pay attention to Ubisoft.
They might. They could. What if there's a new Rayman?
Be nice. It'd be nice if there was a new Rayman.
Well, then you'd have to pay
I'm
attention.
at least getting a Rabbids game.
We know that's happening. The game that no one asked for, it's
Uh.
happening. So, what would you say in terms of the press conference for Xbox?
B minus.
You're not going to give it a B. You said you would give it a B
I
earlier.
changed my mind.
You changed your mind?
B minus because it was a solid presentation that had a lot of good games.
Okay.
But if your job is to sell me on a console, you didn't do it. However, you did do a damn good presentation. But I was never wowed and I was never surprised. There was never a moment where I sat there and I went, holy shit, they're bringing that back.
Right.
Wow. I can't believe you did that, Microsoft. Wow.
Well, for Microsoft, I'm going to give it a B because the Xbox original compatibility did hit me.
Sure.
It
But
got
you
me.
also had the wrong expectations.
I had the wrong expectations, sure, but maybe I'm wrong and I had the right expectations
also, we
to begin
got to
with.
subtract a little bit for lying about the term exclusive.
That was shady. The
A
way
little
that they were using that term,
A little bit.
very shady. But the thing I can say overall that would probably change my opinion about all of this is if they don't have the service with the Xbox original compatibility, I have an Xbox right there. It's right there. I can boot up any game from Xbox original I want to right now.
You're gonna have to throw it in the trash.
Won't matter at all to me if that's what's going to happen.
Also, Microsoft. I expected at least one, and it's out tonight, which I didn't get.
Yeah.
There was no there's no rush. Microsoft, just come at your own time.
Yeah.
We won't be ready for a while.
Yeah, just show up when you want to.
Yeah.
But there you have it. That was the Microsoft conference. $499 for the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Double the price of the Xbox One S.
Fucking
It's going to be out
Xbox.
November 7th, if anyone cares at that point. If you don't have an Xbox at the moment, I suppose I can see why you care. If you do, no. Just
Switch,
not even.
Though.
You would want to switch before this.
It's just it's just a little more powerful.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I got-
absolutely would.
Like, I got a Pro. Is it really worth that when there's a couple exclusives, but everything on PC? It's no just pure build a PC. $500.
Yeah. I mean, plus you could do a lot more with the PC if you just build a PC.
Should have sold it at a loss. This was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 400 I was okay with. The 500 now I'm skeptical. Now I'm very skeptical. But we're not going to be streaming again tonight talking about the upcoming one because that's just too damn late at night.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be 2 hours long.
I imagine what we plan to do is have one stream tomorrow, which will encompass both, or
Yeah.
all three,
Right.
and then we can work our way up to the Sony.
Yep.
And I
So-
think that's the way to do it.
You'll be hearing from us again tomorrow. And keep in mind, if you haven't seen the post with our top 5 worst E3 moments, make sure to catch that at Reset Press. We'll be seeing you later, guys.